Why, hello everyone, how are you doing this fine day? Hope you're enjoying your week. Welcome to another survival challenge, in particular, a Helldiver survival challenge. Or, should I say, a Helldiver survival challenge. See what I did there? That was clever as fuck. I have made a lot of Helldivers videos on this channel. I have had the entire Helldivers faction against other factions. I've had characters go up against all three of the enemy factions Helldivers. I've had a single Helldiver enter the universe of another world and see if they could survive. So many different things, so many different Helldivers videos. You guys have a problem. But in all that time, I have never done just the simple thing, which is just take a single Helldiver soldier and put him up against another sci-fi soldier and just let them duke it out and see what happens. So that's what we're going to do today. And you might think this is kind of a stupid idea because a lot of people have it in their head that the average Helldiver soldier is kind of incompetent and blows himself up and does all kinds of crazy problems. We are going to assume in this video that we are taking the more competent Helldiver, like a peak level Helldiver, not quite General Brash or John Helldiver, nothing like that, nothing too ridiculous, but a Helldiver that can go down on Helldive difficulty, survive the entire thing, and extract without being killed. Like a competent, skilled Helldiver. Because believe it or not, they actually do exist. There's a lot of players out there who can play whole Helldiver missions without dying at all, and their kill-death ratio is insanely high. A Helldiver that can get like 300 or 400 kills straight before going down. Like some serious shit. So we're going to use like one of them. However, before we get started, I do have a couple of announcements to make, or sort of a question and then an announcement. So the question is that I'm getting a lot of comments on a lot of my videos telling me that there's a death battle coming out between Doom Guy and Master Chief, and that I should make some sort of reaction or response video to that, since I talk about Doom a lot on this channel. I'll be honest with you, I don't feel great about that. Like, I generally think that response videos and debunk videos are kind of scummy. For one, I don't think that any of these debunk videos are actually debunk videos. I think that they don't know what debunk means. Debunk means proving without a shadow of a doubt that that thing that that person said is false. All they do is make counter-arguments. They bring up the arguments those people made and give their counter-argument of why that thing's not true. That's not a debunk, because the person isn't there to defend their argument. You might give your counter-argument, and that person might have a great response for it that completely shuts you the fuck down, but you won't know that because you're making a video on your own and you didn't invite them to come speak on their own behalf. They're not there to defend themselves. I don't know, I just think it's shitty. So if the people who are asking me to make this video think that I'm gonna sit there and just shit on Death Battle the whole time, it's not really my style. There's a reason why I have the debate streams every Saturday at 7 p.m. so that people can come up and actually debate me. I wanna give people the opportunity who have certain arguments to defend their arguments, and we can have a conversation about it and go back and forth. I don't have any interest in just, bad-mouthing people. So I don't know. Tell me if you think that I should do that, whether you'd want to see me do that. Next announcement, in case you haven't heard, is that I am planning to make the ultimate survival challenge video between the Doom universe and the He-Man universe, my two strongest survival challenge universes, and make them go head-to-head and duke it out and do a full hour, hour and a half, however long it is, to go over every single faction and character and weapon and artifact and literally everything that can do all sorts of situations. What would Doom Guy do if he comes across Horde Prime? What would He-Man do if he comes across Davith? Just really flesh it out and see what would happen if these two universes came together in one massive clash. But I'm only doing this video as a 35,000 sub celebration video, so I won't be doing it until I get 35,000 subs. So, sub away, people. If you're not sub, fucking, do it. Sub. And I'll make the video. Until then, I'll just, keep throwing Helldivers videos at you. But I've wasted enough of your time. Let's get started. First up on the chopping block, we have John Rambo. That's right, he's first, which means he does the worst, which means you motherfuckers who say I'm biased are wrong. I am not biased. Just because I like Rambo, he's one of my all-time favorite 80s action heroes, does not make me biased. And yeah, he most likely dies here. So this section is really going to be me more kind of trying to explain how Rambo could possibly overcome, but just know he's probably not going to overcome. So first things first, the only way that I could possibly see Rambo even having a chance of defeating a Helldiver is if you put him in a thick forest environment like Malevelon Creek. If he's out in a desert somewhere or out in a large field, which a lot of the Helldivers locations are just large open fields, Rambo's fucking done. There's literally nothing he can do because you just took away the best thing he's got going for him in this fight is his stealth abilities. And the reason why the stealth abilities are the best thing he's got going for him is because Rambo's guns really aren't going to do anything to the Helldivers. Every single weapon that Helldivers have that are combustion weapons are armor-piercing weapons. Every single one of them. All of their enemies are armored to the point that normal guns don't work. And the Helldivers themselves have armor that is made out of a titanium alloy that's the same stuff that their ship is made out of, that survives atmospheric re-entry and travels across the galaxy at massively faster than light speeds. Their armor is actually shockingly durable, and any bullet that Rambo can fire, any normal bullshit real-world bullet, is just gonna bounce right off their armor and not really do anything. And that's if they don't have the energy shields on, but Helldivers also have access to energy shields, which is gonna make them literally untouchable to anything that Rambo has. On top of that, Rambo is a normal dude, just a guy. He's stronger than normal people because of training, he's faster than normal people because of training, that's all true. But none of it is so superior to the fact that he's no longer considered human, which is the case for the Helldivers. Super Earth is really big on eugenics and genetic engineering, and they've been doing it to their citizens for a very, very long time. This is why the Helldivers are shown being able to run at top speeds and jump and dive and do all this crazy shit with like hundreds of pounds of equipment on them at all times. They are capable of melee punching automatons that are made out of some form of armored metal that guns don't work against and completely shattering the metal like it's like fucking glass. Takes a couple of hits, but they can destroy it with their fists. That's not a human person. That means if Rambo wants to take it close range with his knife, which he often does do, he might actually have some serious issues with that because he's fighting a dude who's stronger than anyone he's ever come across before. You also have the fact that Helldivers have extremely advanced scanning technology, and basically if Rambo's anywhere within like 50 yards of him, they're going to see that Rambo's there, which will completely eliminate his ability to be stealthy. I haven't even gone into stratagems, which would just straight up be one-hit kills. Basically, any stratagem they want to do would completely obliterate Rambo instantly. So having said all this, it sounds like Rambo doesn't stand a chance. There's literally nothing he can do. Well, no, there's one thing he can do, and literally one thing. If Rambo can go into a woods somewhere, hide somewhere, and plant traps like he did against the police officers in First Blood, and then the Helldiver just runs into those traps and gets fucked up by them, that's the only way that I could see him winning. The only issue that I have with this is that Rambo would have to have some kind of prior knowledge on how the Helldivers work. Because if it's just him versus a Helldiver, there's really no reason why he wouldn't just show up and shoot him. He would have to know ahead of time that his guns are ineffective. He would have to know ahead of time about the scanners so that he would have to like get far enough and hide and sort of set up the traps instead of going within the 50. Like if he even wants to go and study his enemy and he goes like 10-15 yards away so that the guy can't hear or see him and like camouflages himself so that he could like study his target and shit, that's not gonna matter. That would normally be a smart idea to do, but against a Helldiver it's not, because the Helldiver is going to immediately know that he's creeping up on him way before he gets within that 15-20 yards to actually be able to study his opponent. So absolute 100 best case scenario for Rambo. He has all the information that he needs to know about the Helldivers and decides to go into the woods and set up a bunch of traps and allow the Helldiver to run into said traps, killing himself, whether it be a pit of spikes or a tripwire that's tied to a giant log that comes swinging across the forest and smacking him into a tree or whatever. That's really the only way that he's going to be able to overcome them. If we make this fair, or at least not, well, this can't be fair, but like kind of fair, where they both sort of have all the same information and then you just throw them in the woods and be like, find the other and kill them, and we just leave it at that, Rambo Rambo's gonna die. There's not really a whole lot he can do. He has the skills necessary to overcome the Helldiver, but he would just have to know to utilize those specific skills and avoid his other skills. So I would say percentage chance, if everything goes perfectly, for Rambo to actually win is still probably like 30%, 25%, maybe, somewhere around there. It doesn't look good for him, I'll tell you that. Next up, we have Boba Fett from Star Wars. And boy, oh boy, am I going to annoy some Star Wars fans. I've been saying this for a while. People don't like it when I say it, but Boba Fett's not that good. He kind of sucks. I really don't see why people think he's as powerful or as amazing as he is. He's not. People like compare him to the strongest Jedi and Force users in the Star Wars universe, and he's very clearly not. He has been capable of fighting against Jedi in the past, that's true, but they're always weaker Jedi that you can't even really possibly understand how skilled or powerful they are. When he goes up against characters like Vader, who by the way, completely hold back when fighting against him, it's very clearly a wash in Vader's favor. Windu killed him. Like all the strongest Jedi completely fucking throttle him. So like what are we talking about here? A lot of people like to argue that Boba Fett is so fast that he could dodge blaster fire, but I mean, No, he can't. Can we stop this? Everybody always gets this stuff from the same place. They get it from the comic books. There'll be one panel where a character fires a blaster, and then the next panel where it shows Boba Fett like running sideways and the blaster moving, or like diving out of the way or whatever. And because of that, they're like, oh, he moved faster than the blaster. Like, it's a comic. It's still images. What you are seeing is a representation so that you know by looking in a visual way that someone fired a shot, he leapt out of the way of the shot. And you're seeing it in two different pictures. Speed is not being relayed to you in these pictures. This is a representation of one character firing at another character running sideways, and those shots missing that person because he's moving in a side. He's a moving target. That's what it's telling you. It's not telling you that he's moving faster than the shot. There are actually comics where characters are that fast, and it is written and drawn in a way to display that in a very clear manner, right? In the Darkness comics, there's a scene where a dude shoots a gun at a guy, and he just fucking catches a bullet in midair. He just grabs it. Like, he walks forward to grab the bullet because that's how much faster he is than the bullet. There's another panel I remember seeing, I don't even remember what comic this was, where a dude gets shot and there's one panel and he's looking at the bullet in front of his face. Like, he's cross-eyed staring at the bullet right in front of him, and then in the next panel he moves his head and the bullet passes by him. That is a dude who is faster than bullets. Just seeing one dude fire and one dude move and those firing misses is not an indicator that dude is that fast. The only characters who are capable of consistently reacting to blaster shots are Jedi and Sith and other Force users, and that's not even because they're faster than blaster shots. That's because they have the Force telling them where the blaster shots are going to be and guiding their movements to block it before it gets there. Then there's other parts where people just straight up take hyperbole as literal. Like, I remember in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, there's a scene where Anakin is smashing on top of the lightsaber of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is blocking it. It says he's smashing down with the force of a meteor. What does that even mean? What is the force of a meteor? What is that? How much force is that? It doesn't matter, and it's not meant to be taken literally. The writer of that book was trying to relay to the reader that he was hitting with a lot of force. You're not supposed to take that and be like, oh shit, let's take like meteors and fucking math that shit out and try. It's not how it works. If you read enough comics and books and watch enough TV and movies, you figure this shit out. Editing fuckery in a movie so that it can indicate to you what exactly is happening is not evidence that the character is super fast just because of the way it's edited together. Like I said, I can talk about this all day. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Point is, how would Boba Fett do against a Helldiver? He'd do really fucking poorly. Basically, every single thing that Boba Fett has, the Helldivers have, but better, with the exception of the jetpack. They both have jetpacks, but Boba Fett's jetpack is a lot better. But everything else, the Helldivers have the exact same thing, just better. They got the flamethrower, they got blaster rifles and pistols, which in Star Wars universe is just plasma, which the Helldivers do have. And the Helldivers also have laser weapons, which Boba Fett doesn't have. He's got that big ass rocket on his back, which is admittedly very powerful. It's capable of blowing up an entire cruiser. However, it's really hard to aim. It's nearly impossible to hit a single target with it. And the Helldivers have massive explosive weapons that are just as powerful, if not stronger. There really isn't a whole lot of evidence out there that Boba Fett's rocket launcher is more powerful than, say, an orbital rail cannon. In fact, the Helldivers are so versatile with their number of weapons that they completely cancel out every strength that Boba Fett has. Boba Fett can fly? Cool. They have weapons that are specifically designed to kill flying targets. They have the spear. They have that cluster bomb thing that they shoot that came out when the game introduced the flying Terminids. They have, again, an orbital rail cannon that automatically aims at the person and fires from space and just hits them. It's like a pinpoint accuracy kind of thing. They have the orbital laser, which is a giant superheated laser that follows the person around. They have all sorts of crazy shit they can kill Boba with, and a bunch of shit that Boba's never even fucking seen before. What is he gonna do against the massive gas attacks? The gas weapons in Helldivers are specifically stated to be able to burn through metal and armor. Boba will actually not survive being inside of that green gas. Lore-wise, it will burn through his weapons, jetpack, armor, and flesh, and yes, he will die from it. Boba doesn't have any energy shields. The Helldivers do have energy shields. The Helldivers have stationary turrets that they can summon that will just keep firing at Boba non-stop, that he's gonna be distracted by and having to deal with the fucking turret that won't stop firing at him. Even shit like mortars, which will attack from above, so even if he's hiding behind shit and trying to get away from the normal turret, the fucking mortar's gonna blow him up from the other side anyway. If he wants to try dodging all this shit and flying all over the sky and trying to make it so that he can't get hit, guess what? The Helldivers have rockets and missiles and shit that follow their target. The spear just straight up is a guided missile that hits its target and blows the fuck up. So even flying away is not gonna do anything. This matchup is a complete wash. Boba cannot win unless you make the Helldiver mentally fucking retarded. Which, admittedly, there are mentally fucking retarded Helldivers. Fine, sure. But there's also super skilled ones, and we're using the super skilled ones. The super skilled Helldiver is not fucking losing to Boba Fett. Next up on the list, we have Commander Shepard from Mass Effect. Now, Normally when I do this, I just use like the amalgam version of the character. So when I talk about, you know, Master Shepard, I'll just talk about a version of Master Shepard that can use biotics and tech abilities, and as a soldier, just all of it, because there's so many different variations of Shepard. Like, what can Shepard do? Who knows? There isn't like a canon version. But I am under no false pretenses that if I did that in this case, Commander Shepard would wipe the fucking floor with the Helldiver. It would not be close. So in the spirit of the video, that being that we're talking about sci-fi soldiers, I figure we just talk about the soldier class version of Commander Shepard, and maybe that might make it a little bit more fair in a fight between the Helldiver and Commander Shepard. So how's that gonna go? Well, first thing first, Commander Shepard is going to get over an issue the previous two characters had very easily, which is that their weapons wouldn't really do a ton of damage to the Helldivers. Rambo couldn't hurt them at all, and while Boba Fett could hurt them, Helldivers were highly resistant to a lot of stuff that Boba Fett can do. Like, they do have armor that defends highly against plasma attacks, which Star Wars blasters are plasma, and the Helldivers have weapons that use technology that just straight up doesn't even exist in Star Wars and would fuck Boba Fett up just fine. Commander Shepard's guns work completely differently and are really gonna fuck up the Helldivers pretty good. For one, the guns are only limited in how powerful they shoot by the person who's firing the gun. Basically, the guns in Mass Effect will adjust the force it fires based on how durable the target it's firing at. Like, it actually has the ability to essentially scan what you're aiming at and tell the durability and make itself hard enough to go through whatever that durability is. They also have a bunch of different weapon types that make it even more susceptible to destroying different types of objects. Like, for instance, the Shredder ammo is really good at getting through solid armor and metals and things like that, whereas Disruptor ammo is really good at getting through shields that are created through electricity. Then you have Warp ammo and all of these different kinds of ammos that are going to be able to damage certain types of targets. When it comes to the Helldivers specifically, they have two different types of protections. They have their energy shields and they have their armor, which is made out of a titanium alloy. The Shredder ammo is going to take care of the titanium alloy armor, as it's shown in Mass Effect being able to destroy considerably thicker armor that is arguably a lot harder than the Helldivers. And the energy shields, while we don't know what they're made of, are created with a battery pack that is on the Helldiver's back, so it can be assumed, you know, batteries and shit, that it's made through electricity, meaning the Disruptor ammos should take care of those relatively well. And Commander Shepard can switch between these ammo types on the fly without really any trouble. I know that some people are going to mention that in Mass Effect 2 and 3, the soldier class of Commander Shepard cannot actually use Disruptor ammo or Shredder ammo. He uses, I believe it was the Inferno ammo and something else, I don't remember. That is true, but in lore, there's no reason why he doesn't have those things. Like, if you played the first game, you could basically use any type of ammo. You can use Disruptor, Inferno, Warp, whatever you want to use. In the sequel, they tied that ammunition to certain classes, so if you picked a soldier Shepard, the only way he can use Disruptor ammo is if you had like a teammate like Zahid or somebody else who used Disruptor ammo, and you had to like upgrade his Disruptor ammo to the point that it was like a team Disruptor ammo, so you can give Disruptor ammo to your whole team. But again, in the lore, it's just an ammo type. It's not like a superpower. There's no reason why he can't just use that ammo freely like he did back in Mass Effect 1. So I kind of just chalked this one up to gameplay. He should have access to basically all the ammo types, except maybe Warp ammo, because I think Warp ammo actually comes from the powers of the biotics. So if he's not a biotic, he shouldn't be able to have that. I could be wrong about that one, but I'm pretty sure that Warp ammo actually does come from the power of the biotics and is not just its own unique ammo type that anyone can use. Either way, it doesn't matter. He's not going to be using Warp ammo here. It's not going to be really useful. The Disruptor ammo and the Shredder ammo will be, and both of those are going to be able to be used on the Helldivers and fuck them up pretty good. That's not even touched on the heavy weapons. Like, there's a freeze gun and a black hole gun. Oh shit, I brought up a black hole. Okay, I guess I have to get into this now. Every time I talk about a black hole, anything, everyone automatically like starts throwing shit in the comment section, just being like, it's a black hole, you can just destroy the whole solar system. He's a cosmic level threat because he make a black. Stop it, please, stop. No, I don't care what you Google searched 5 seconds ago to find out the power of a black hole. It doesn't matter to me, okay? According to these people, a black hole the size of a dime would destroy the entire planet. The black hole that comes out of Commander Shepard's gun is the size of like a fucking minivan, and he's perfectly safe firing it. All of his people are safe. The planet's still there. So obviously the creators of this game did not take your fucking Google search into account when they made their black hole gun. People try to use this as a cheat constantly to try and like up the numbers of shit. No, sure, it's a black hole, but it clearly does not work the same way that we believe it works in theoretical physics, so just stop it. The shit they say isn't even consistent. Like, when I talk about Helldivers and the Quasar Cannon, the fact that the Quasar Cannon fires a Quasar, everybody will argue with me that it's not a Quasar, even though it's called a Quasar Cannon and looks like a Quasar. It's just some generic form of yellow energy, because when he fires the cannon, it doesn't blow up the goddamn universe, or whatever you think it does from your Google search. But yet, when you have this black hole cannon, ain't nobody arguing that the black hole isn't actually a black hole because it doesn't respond in the same way that a black hole would. I've never seen that argument. But everybody wanted to make it for the fucking quasar canon because a quasar is actually like the center of a black hole that kind of mimics a star. It's like a point of extremely heavy gravity or whatever. Looks like a quasar, called a quasar cannon, fires it, but apparently no, not a quasar. No, you're wrong. The quasar cannon doesn't fire a quasar, even though I didn't know what a quasar was 5 minutes ago, but I just Google searched and Google told me to use it. That's not how it works. And before you say I'm a hypocrite because at the beginning of the video I said I don't like to debunk people when they're not here to defend themselves, and technically that's what I'm doing right now, you're wrong. Because I never claimed that I was debunking anyone, I am making fun of them. There's a difference. Actually, if you want to be technical about it, anytime I respond to the comments like this, I'm technically doing a straw man because there's literally thousands of different comments that all have differing opinions and I'm just putting them all into like one group as if they're all one person, which is like the definition of what a straw man is. But yeah, that's kind of the point. You know, there's people who've watched these videos for over a year and still haven't realized that these are satire and not meant to be taken seriously. Crazy, right? I don't get it. Maybe I should start putting it in the hashtag, like satire. Or I should put it in the hashtag as educational to just like add to the satire even more. Like, no, man, this is factual shit that I'm telling you. Anyway, point is, Shepard's weapons are more than powerful enough to deal with the Helldivers. But on the flip side, Helldivers' weapons should be powerful enough to damage Shepard as well, since, as I said before, the guns in the Mass Effect universe are limited by the recoil of the person who is firing it. So it won't fire bullets that fire out so strong that it shatter your fucking arm. And given that there are normal humans who can fire these guns, and those guns go through the shielding of Shepard, and many of the Helldivers guns actually fire calibers that should not be fireable by normal humans, but they can do it because they're slightly superhuman, means that their guns should absolutely do all kinds of fucked up shit. Just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, one of the strongest men on the planet, Eddie Hall, actually fired a 4-bore rifle at one point that has a 1 caliber bullet that is about 1 inch in thickness, or actually like exactly 1 inch in thickness, basically. And when he fired this bullet, the recoil was noticeable and it gave him this giant black and blue welt on his arm. He said it hurt like crazy and he never wanted to fire that gun again. It was a big deal, him firing, and this is like one of the strongest dudes ever. So like I said, this bullet was 1 inch wide, which is about 25.4 millimeters, I believe. And there are guns that are fired by Helldivers that are handheld weapons that fire up to 40 millimeters. That's insane. No human should be able to fire that weapon, but they do have it. In case you're wondering what weapon it is, it's the flak ammunition used with the autocannon is a 40 millimeter round. Not the regular ammunition, but the flak ammunition specifically is actually said in the game to be 40 millimeters. So yeah, I mean, their weapons should absolutely fuck up Shepard. So the question here is, since both characters can damage each other, who wins in a fucking shootout? And this basically comes down to two things: the Helldivers' versatility versus Commander Shepard's, well, basically adrenaline. That's really it. One of the things the soldier class in Mass Effect can do is called adrenaline, where basically it's this thing that's built into his suit where it injects him full of this shit and it basically slows down time to a crawl to where he could like see bullets in slow motion and shit, and he can wipe out a whole room of dudes really, really fast, take them all out. Okay, I'm just gonna skip all this. Fucking Shepard wins. He's obviously gonna win. The ability to slow down time and your perception of time to immediately pull out a gun and shoot a dude before they can do anything at all is going to give him the win here. Helldivers move at the same speed of a normal dude with normal reaction times. Shepard doesn't, even when he's not using adrenaline. When he is using adrenaline, it's way superior. And to be honest with you, even if he didn't have adrenaline, Master Shepard is set up in this series to be the most skilled soldier that has ever existed. He's like the perfect soldier. I know I said I'm using a competent and skilled Helldiver, but I mean, how skilled? Commander Shepard's skill, the guy who fought off the Reapers and was basically the chosen one of the Mass Effect universe and was the most feared beings in the universe by the fucking Reapers that were known as machine gods. That guy, like if I use General Brash or John Helldiver, yeah, they would win. But any reasonable Helldiver that I use would get fucking dominated here. They would get blitzed and honestly likely one-shotted. It's gonna be pretty bad. Last up, but certainly not least, we have Frank Castle, the Punisher from Marvel Comics. And I know a couple of people are probably gonna look at me a little weird having said this. You'll be like, this doesn't make any sense. The Punisher's not a sci-fi character. He's like a grounded sort of, you don't read comics. The entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a sci-fi fantasy universe. There isn't really any character in here that isn't some form of sci-fi or fantasy. Now, don't get me wrong, you do have your more grounded stories with the Punisher where he's just like in a war zone or something, or he's fighting criminals with regular guns. Sure, but that's not the only stories that Punisher Punisher has. In fact, I would say that's probably a minority of his stories. He is oftentimes using crazy laser futuristic space guns. He constantly fights all sorts of different weird superpowered villains and heroes that were given their power through some kind of crazy sci-fi shenanigans. Spider-Man is a science fiction character. He got superpowers from a weird sci-fi scenario where a fucking super spider bit him and he had like genetically, that's science fiction. That's what that is. Punisher is in a story where he has to fight him. Guess what? Punisher's in a science fiction story. And if you went down the list of all the crazy shit that the Punisher actually has, it becomes very clear this dude is a science fiction character. Did you know that he has a suit made out of nanobots that is created for the sole purpose to mimic the powers of Venom? This is something that he has all the time. He got it around the time of the World War Hulk storyline and he still has it. He just chooses to not use it for some fucking reason because Marvel sucks and they don't like their characters to evolve or do anything that makes any sense ever. Speaking of which, I now have to make the decision of whether or not I make this entire section talking about the Punisher just an opportunity to shit on Marvel Comics, or if I should just like take it a little more straight and just kind of tell you about the Punisher and, you know, be official and like, you know, straight and be like, no, let's actually get to the really meat and bones of this conversation. No, I'm gonna roast Marvel. The reason why the Punisher is at the top of this list and would absolutely dominate the Helldiver, or even a whole team of Helldivers by himself, easily, it is not even a question in my mind, is because Marvel Comics are written like shit. They fucking suck. The writers of Marvel Comics do not give a fuck about anything, from story consistency to character consistency to, yes, even power level consistency. The only people in the entire universe that care less about the power levels of the characters in Marvel than I do is Marvel themselves. This is a universe where you can have Silver Surfer casually pushing a moon out of orbit and then being overpowered by Black Panther in the next issue. It's a universe where Spider-Man can have a pretty close call with someone like the Hulk, but then in that exact same storyline, really struggle against fucking Daredevil. It's the universe where the Punisher is a quote-unquote normal dude without any superpower abilities, and Captain America is a superpowered being who has abilities that are consistently shown to be completely unmatched by regular human people, but yet you can then put him against regular human people like the Punisher, and the fights are actually really close, and nobody's blitzing anyone or easily overpowering anyone, and it just comes down to like who's more skilled. What is the point of even giving Captain America the superpowers if you're just gonna forget that he has them or make the human characters just as strong as he is? Like, why'd you even give him the fucking serum in the first place? Who gives a shit? What is the point of Spider-Man being so goddamn superhuman when him and Punisher have relatively even fights all the time? Doesn't make any sense. In the Marvel Universe, there is not a single character that has a consistent strength level or speed level. You can literally take any individual character and you can somehow scale them through this fight and this fight and this fight to be massively faster than light. Every single fucking character. There is a comic book that exists out there where Thor and Wolverine are fighting, and Thor directly states that he cannot compete in any way with Wolverine's speed. He cannot lay a single hand on Wolverine. That might sound kind of surprising for non-comic book fans, but honestly, if that's in a comic and that is considered canon, which it is, it's the main universe, 616, how could you even argue versus battles with Marvel characters at that point? Because it's just so ridiculous and all over the place. You can't possibly make any sense out of anything anyone does when you have characters that we know can travel many times faster than light, does it all the time, that is then just completely fucking blitzed by goddamn Wolverine of all people. And then just a couple of issues later, have this character go back to being massively faster than light. Did you fucking forget? What happened? Characters are just as fast as they want to be. They're as strong as they want to be. They have whatever skills they want to have. Yes, Punisher has a crazy nano armor that gives him Venom powers. Awesome. Is he just going to have it on him at all times because that would be the smart thing to do? No, he's not. He's going to have it at like 1 or 2 different points for like one storyline because the writer thought it would be cool to give Punisher Venom powers for like 5 minutes. But then like within the story, there's no real reason why he just doesn't have it all the time. I'm sure they wrote in some stupid bullshit like Punisher likes to have a challenge or something. I mean, whatever. It's so fucking dumb. Nothing matters in this universe. You can devote 5 years of comic book writing to fleshing out Hulk's character and getting Hulk to a point, this lonely, like depressed, like really fucked up mentally dude, into sort of coming to terms with who he is and opening himself up to other people and building the Hulk family. He's got 3 kids. He's got sons and a daughter and his wife and his father-in-law, and they all actually kind of like him, and he's got like his little family, and they're all Hulks. And his friend Rick Jones, he becomes a Hulk, and he's like the uncle to his kids, and She-Hulk comes to the fold, and they form like a Hulk family. And Hulk is no longer alone. He doesn't just fight for himself and just wanting to be left by himself. He now wants to fight for his family, and he loves his family. So, oh, good. What amazing character development. And then the next writer that comes in fucking gets rid of the entire Hulk family. Like, all of them immediately. And he goes back to being alone. What was the point of me reading the 5 years of comics building up to the Hulk family shit just for the next writer to completely get rid of it? This is bullshit. What is the point of me reading the Superior Spider-Man comics, where Doc Ock takes over the role of Spider-Man and learns to become a hero and actually starts to understand Peter Parker, who he is as a person, and get him, sort of come to this middle ground where he doesn't like Peter, but he understands where him and Peter always disagreed on, and he understands why Peter exists and the usefulness of him. And Doc Ock turns into a good guy. Even though he's dead, he makes like a secondary clone body that's half based on his DNA and half based on Peter's DNA, so he has like superpowers as well. And then he becomes like the superior octopus, and he starts going around and saving people, but he's like a darker and more technologically advanced version of Spider-Man. And you got to see all of his cool character development over a several year-long period. And then they fucking just like kill off that body, and then he had another clone prepared, and the other clone doesn't have any of Peter's DNA and doesn't have any of the memories that previous clone had. So it's just the old classic version of Dr. Octopus that came back. It's like, what was the fucking point of me reading that story? None of it matters. Everything gets put back to zero. Marvel sucks. The universe as a whole doesn't make sense. Nothing ever changes. Nothing ever matters. Certain characters will age while other characters don't. You know, Eddie Brock has a kid that's like 8 to 10 years. He's like a little kid. He's been a little kid for fucking decades. There have been other superheroes who have had kids and had those kids grow up to be like late teens, and the entire time Eddie Brock's child is still a small child. He hasn't aged a bit, but no one thinks it's weird because the whole universe's timeline doesn't all go forward at the same time. Each individual story, even though these stories are all happening together, are all moving at different paces. So you'll have one comic that over the course of 10 years, like 10 years pass, and then another comic where over the course of 10 years, like a couple months pass, and that's supposed to just make perfect fucking sense, and we're not supposed to question it at all. And it's weird because they have crossovers and shit, and kids that were both kids at one point are now like an adult and a kid, and they never like talk about like, why haven't you aged at all? It's fucking stupid. Marvel's awful. And DC's not much better, by the way. I'm not going on DC because we're not talking about DC right now. But yeah, DC does the same shit. The only way that you could possibly enjoy a Marvel comic is if you read one storyline out of context, don't care about anything that came before, don't care about anything that came after, and just have it in this sort of little bubble. And then you read it and you're like, okay, whatever. That is what it is. I'm done. Because if you keep reading, you're going to get pissed. And if you read anything before that, you're gonna get pissed. But who the fuck wants to like get their stories that way? I don't. This sounds awful. Did you imagine if that's what would happen in like Dragon Ball Z or One Piece? If like every arc that just completely rebooted the whole fucking thing and everything just reversed back and nothing mattered and the power levels reversed back, and it's just dumb. It's fucking dumb. Why does Punisher win? Because he's got a fucking Venom nano suit. He just has it. Whenever he wants it, he could just pull it out and fucking use it. He doesn't, because Marvel's got to keep all of their IPs the same forever and can't change anything or add anything unique or interesting to the fold. Punisher can't wear a fucking nano suit that gives him awesome superpowers because that takes away from the whole I'm a dude with guns running around shooting criminals thing, and it would completely change the vibe of the comic. So they just can't do it. But if that was the case, then Marvel shouldn't even be a fucking universe. It should be a bunch of self-contained stories that have occasional crossovers. But it's not. It's a full universe. But the full universe doesn't grow and shape like a universe should. Punisher fucking wins. He's a character who's light speed when he wants to be, has super strength when he wants to be. His guns are as powerful as they need to be. If they want to shoot through something that's bulletproof, they'll do it just because That's how guns work in this universe. There are characters that are shown that bullets should not do shit to them, but bullets do shit to them anyway. Doesn't matter. Spider-Man can be punched through several buildings and have like an entire skyscraper collapse on top of him and have to hold up all the rubble so that people can get out and just have a couple of scratches on him, but then like a pistol being shot at him will fucking kill him for some reason. Like he lifted the whole weight of a skyscraper. Why are bullets doing shit to him? They shouldn't affect him at all. I'm done. Fuck Marvel. Punisher wins because of bullshit Marvel writing that isn't consistent and doesn't matter in any way. Whatever. But that's going to be all from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, enjoy the membership. Remember, if you join the membership, you get videos early. And always remember, y'all stay safe out there, you hear?